Versatile Mage. Chapter 678. Bone Spike's Skeleton Formation. Mo Fan appeared right in front of the skeleton general. It was unclear how the creature had discovered Mo Fan's whereabouts. It immediately thrust its sharp swords forward. Its reach was over 2 meters. There were at least 22-meter-long bone spikes. If Mo Fan did not pay attention, he would be impaled on the spikes. Mo Fan jumped backward and escaped the range of the bone spikes. He pointed his finger at the sky as he landed, summoning a purple-black star pattern, followed by a lightning dragon descending on the skeleton general. Its skull was already missing. This time, the lightning blasted its chest into pieces. One of its ribs fell to the ground beside Mo Fan's feet. The skeleton general was still swaying. It was not dead yet, even after losing its chest. Mo Fan was too lazy to search for its undead crystal. He drew another lightning star pattern and immediately disintegrated the rest of the skeleton's body. 35, said Mo Fan coldly while crushing the remains of the skeleton general by stomping on them. Ling, Little Flame Bell cried, not because Mo Fan had just avenged her, but she was trying to warn Mo Fan about something in the sky. Before Mo Fan could raise his head, a bone spear landed half a centimeter away from his feet. A third of the spear had stuck into the ground. The long spear was still trembling from its enormous momentum. The sound of sharp weapons slicing through the air was heard as several bone spears around a meter long were launched at Mo Fan from different angles. Mo Fan quickly dodged aside. 4 bone spikes stuck into the ground where he had been standing just a moment ago in a row. They were also quivering from their overwhelming momentum after embedding into the ground. Mo Fan scanned his surroundings and discovered white bone spikes pouring down at him like arrows. Before, Mo Fan had barely dodged the attacks by utilizing the slight differences in the landing times of the bone spears. However, the rain of bones was pouring down simultaneously, making it impossible to find a place to hide from the onslaught. Fleeing shadow was no longer an option in this situation. Even if he turned into a shadow, the dense bone spikes would simply impale him inside it. Seeing that the situation was not favorable, Mo Fan immediately pulled Little Flame Bell from his back into his chest and bowed forward in a half-kneeling posture, preventing the spikes from hitting her. Black Snake Armor. Underneath the rain of bones, Mo Fan summoned his luxurious armor. The blue-black scales almost instantly covered Mo Fan's body, from his head to his toes. The black snake scales were not an extremely rigid material. Even though it looked like Mo Fan was wearing some metal armor, it did not hinder his movement at all. The bone spikes landed right on Mo Fan. He kept using his back to take the hits. After all, he was wearing the black snake armor, but Little Flame Bell was not. Ying, Little Flame Bell, who was under Mo Fan's protection, cried out. She could hear the piercing sound of the bones surrounding her. Even the ground was being shattered into pieces from the impact, yet she was perfectly safe. Mo Fan's arms were tightly hugging her tiny body. I'm fine, these bone spikes can't hurt me. Mo Fan's back continued to produce a sound similar to sharp metal clanking. The black snake armor had provided Mo Fan a truly sturdy defense. Even the giant corpse general was hopeless when trying to penetrate his defense. There was no way the bone spikes of the servant-class skeletons could break his armor. The rain of bones lasted for a long time. Waves after waves of bone spikes poured onto the ground. Even an elite troop of intermediate magicians would have suffered heavy casualties from the attack. The black snake armor's defense totally exceeded Mo Fan's expectations. Mo Fan only felt a little soreness on his back after the bone spikes stopped hitting him. The bone spikes left many tiny holes on the black snake armor, but they did not penetrate it. Time to get rid of these bone spike skeletons. Mo Fan glanced around coldly and saw a few groups of bone spike skeletons. It was obvious that there were warrior-level creatures commanding the bone spike skeletons. They were standing in some kind of square formation. When they started tossing their bone spikes, it resulted in the attack that Mo Fan had just received. Except for the place where Mo Fan was standing, The whole area was pierced through by the bone spikes, forming a layer of broken bones. The threat that these bone spike skeletons posed was greater than a warrior-level creature due to their overwhelming numbers. After all, they had the ability to attack from range. It simply meant that apart from the hundreds of skeletons surrounding Mo Fan, he still had to handle the other hundreds attacking him from a distance. The black snake armor had a breaking point too. A few more volleys of the same attack and every inch of his skin would be pierced through by the bone javelins. Ying. Little Flame Bell nodded after reading Mo Fan's thoughts. Possess. We'll kill them all at once, said Mo Fan murderously. Little Flame Bell was well rested. Since she was already in Mo Fan's hug, she no longer needed to fly into Mo Fan's body. The porcelain doll covered in fire simply dissolved into Mo Fan's chest. The black snake armor was fairly responsive. It did not stop the source of flame that Little Flame Bell had turned into from entering Mo Fan. As Little Flame Bell completely possessed Mo Fan, his blue-scaled body was engulfed in the brown calamity fire. The black snake armor turned crimson-red as it heated up. Rose Flame, Calamity Fire, Meteorite Fist, 9 Dragons. Mo Fan was now covered in an eerie mix of blue and red flames, and threw a powerful punch right at the formation of the bone spike skeletons. The fiery dragons danced wildly, bringing terrifying destruction to everything they flew across, turning the army of white skeletons into dust drifting in the air. The Meteorite Fist, 9 Dragons was comparable to an advanced spell. Its strength could easily turn warrior-level undead into a pile of dust, let alone the weak servant-class skeletons. Mo Fan was determined to eliminate the bone spike skeletons. The Meteorite Fist, 9 Dragons totally annihilated them. The square formation of the bone spike skeletons completely vanished after the 9 fiery dragons dissipated. 39. Faint green light dots like fireflies floated toward Mo Fan, and the pendant on his chest absorbed them all. Somehow, Mo Fan had already strengthened 39 stars of the lightning element. He had collected those soul essences just from the undead he had killed. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.